What to say, what to say? That's always the question on my mind. Well, what's on my mind tonight? Well, let's see. I think, the way people think of just what WWE is in general. It is an interesting concept. I think when I did my first WWE chat video, very successful, got plenty of views, which I appreciate much of. It kind of felt like that era was becoming more of what I was talking about, and really just felt like tag team and like singles and shit, and this and that, everything, pretty much the basic scenarios, and it really felt like that at the time, and I felt like if they did that, then that would really change the business either for, I say more for the wrong reasons, it wouldn't really succeed for so long, get very boring very quickly. Give it a couple days, 2 or 3 months, it's like, alright, fuck this shit. Let's get back to normal routine. But I think their success drives them to do better, if that even exists anymore. I mean, the business that they've been in for years has been either good and bad. It's been like through the fucking roof at times. You've had some high stakes matches, had some really good championship opportunities and challengers and all this bullshit, and then you look at a typical, wrestling night of a show, you're getting less of that than you would on a major card, on a pay-per-view card. I mean, on the card for WWE is more of entertainment of a match than you would on a typical Monday, Friday night. I mean, you can't expect anything to be that exciting on a typical Monday or Friday night. You gotta really think of the odds for a major pay-per-view event. That's when you really make your money doing that shit. I mean, doing a typical live event or tour events, it's really just, it feels like it's just similar to what it is. But I mean, you look at the company now, and you look at WWE, and you think, okay, there's some decent matches still, and there's some decent talent still able to provide entertainment and all that, but you don't feel like it's really enough. And when they had the PG era, that just fucking sucked. That was like the worst decision they could have ever done. I mean, that was so lame that people thought it was gonna sink so fucking quick that the shit would be like off the air like that. You do it to yourself because they thought that this was gonna be a good thing to do. This would really bring in a lot of major fans and shit, and really bring up the revenue. But it felt like it just slowly just killed it off, and like, all right, died off, forget it, fuck it, waste of time. But you do an era like that, a PG era, and then you got people who don't, like I said, defend the title, become tag team, all tag team matches, like I said, and then you have this PG bullshit. That's just like the worst decision you could ever done. I mean, you're doing shit that doesn't really work with the fan base. The fan base wants to be entertained. They don't want to be bullshitted and want some BS, B plus bullshit match on fucking SmackDown that's not even half good, but on a major pay-per-view card like Mania Rumble or Survivor Series would be better than that. I mean, it's just like, if they can live up to their expectations at times, you just think to yourself, there's a lot more to it than meets the odds of it. But what WWE and how they run their company is a little different compared to what people think it is, how that works. I mean, it's just the basics of what the system is and how the system works. But with them, it's just like, all right, flip a switch, let's just go for it, see where the road takes us. But I mean, if you're selling out arenas, doing this shit, and then you got typical, some boring ass match that no one's gonna be entertained by, then you're really not doing your job right. But I think to them, it's just entertainment in sense of how they look at things in different perspective. I think the world of wrestling has changed for the worse or for the better. I mean, I can't say now it's anything different. I mean, you got Bloodline pretty much holding all the gold. You got decent women's champions, and nothing wrong with that at all. It's just a different fight feel to me where you don't know if they still have it in them to do something good. I mean, they could still make high stake matches, still do some good shit, but I think that energy and that vibe is pretty much not there anymore. I mean, they've kind of lost their edge. Ever since things just changed and they got rid of people, and a few years later you bring some people back, it's like, what the hell? I mean, it's a weird situation to think that you never figured that Bray Wyatt would come back. You never figured Stone would show up and come back. I mean, you don't figure as much that major talent like that would surface again, make him a big contract deal with pay him a good shitload of money, and then perform for you again. I mean, what if they get rid of him again? What is that going to do to the fans' opinion about that? If they get rid of Wyatt or Strowman or really anybody else, it's going to take effect and really take an opinion about, how that business is really taking shape. But if they're trying to make it better, throw in some good stuff. Don't bullshit it with some lame ass match that's not gonna do you any good. And then fans are like, this sucks, this is bullshit, what the fuck are they doing? I mean, things like that. But I think in ways they try to do what they can. I think the way they try to run the ratings and try to do better is they're trying to succeed. But again, I think that's beside them. There's a lot more opportunity for them to do successful things. I mean, you're not seeing a lot of extreme major matches anymore. You're not seeing a lot of crazy shit. You're seeing less of that than what you did back in the day. I mean, back in the day was badass. Now it's just like watching a kid show that hasn't been on, that's been on for years, and again, it's changed and that sucks. It's like, that's what WWE is to me. It's just, the vibe and energy is not there. You kind of just get tired of all the typical playing around bullshit, but again, people still tune into it every Monday and Friday night to watch. I mean, and Tuesday, and yeah, Tuesday. I can't even imagine how that would really change anyone else's opinion compared to what it is now. And I think the fans they just see a show. They don't give a shit if it's bad or worse. They just go to see it. I mean, they're spending their hard-earned money on that. Well, you can sit home and watch it for free. I mean, it's a compromise, I think, on anyone's part. You really think that the talent can really pull off some badass shit, do some cool shit, and still perform, which they can when they're very talented. But it just feels like there's nothing there that hasn't been seen. It really hasn't been talked about or introduced that really matters. That, oh, somebody comes back and been gone for a long time, well, they're gonna do better. But give it a couple of days or so, they'll probably be gone before you know it. It's how fast it lasts. And thinking WWE is pretty much the main golden ticket to success, while you're still looking for that puzzle piece that's been missing for years. I mean, you find it, you don't, but I don't think in any other way that they could not pull off something successful and not succeed, but still change the business and either make it worse or make it better. I think they're trying to really push the limit on it. And in my opinion, I think people probably think differently. They can argue the point, but there's no point to argue. It's just, it's a lost cause. It really is. Anything in WWE's world of entertainment is way past their potential. I mean, they could really do some badass stuff, but they choose just to lay low and do the typical lame ass shit that no one really wants to be entertained by. I mean, their success depends on the fans' happiness. If they can pull that off, they've succeeded. If they can't, they're fucked. You can't imagine if they did what they were going to do, hypothetically speaking, it was going to be all tag team and single matches. That would not last. That would be like the worst decision they would ever come up with. I mean, the way the ship's running now, it could be better, but I'm not seeing much potential in that. I think that's kind of beneath what WWE's known for. They're known for just kicking ass, taking names, fucking making tons of money and making fans happy. But the way that business is now, talent-wise, it's not going to be ever the same. I mean, even the Divas division's lacking, momentum, the energy, just anything in general. And you're seeing less of things being defended more than you think it should be. I mean, they're coming up with things that are good but are stupid in the same right, and fans will believe and watch whatever the hell they want. They'll go for the gold. They don't care. It's just how much more of it can people believe that doing something like that, bringing something in that really matters, that's going to make it any less, fun as it used to be. But it's really just them kissing ass and trying to make it worth the while and worth the time. I mean, yes and no. I mean, I don't know. It's a mixed feeling for me as a wrestling fan, but for the right reasons. That you want to be entertained, you want to see some blood, you want to see some hardcore shit, you want to see some really good stuff. You're not seeing that so much in WWE anymore. I think people kind of semi realize that in the sense of, okay, they've let go of all the extreme shit. They're doing less blood. They're doing less this and less that. You want to move to something else because you feel like that's kind of letting everybody down. That they could have done fucking better. They could have stepped the damn game, but they choose to do what they do. It's a lack of innovation, I think, on anybody's part in that scenario. I mean, you can't imagine them trying to pick up the pieces and really thinking, all right, who can bring in, who can work with this, who can do this, and figured all the missing pieces from there. But trying to find people to work with, trying this, and doing that isn't gonna really make it any better than what it used to be. It's a hit or miss, I think, in anybody's opinion, and it's always gonna stay the same. I don't think it's ever gonna change anyone's mind, and people can really disagree. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of this, and so I'm definitely very curious if people are still are interested in WWE or they're done with it. I'll let you fans let you fans decide because it matters, and I'm just curious. As always, by Big G. Peace.